Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone around the globe. I am Devorah Grenn, Kohenet, and I welcome my co-host of many months, Kohenet Annie Matan. Just have to say that we recorded 18 episodes of Priestessing the Priestesses, which then got converted into our YouTube channel, which art was beautifully created also by Annie. And we became Tending Lilith's Fire in order to speak to a wider audience. And we are now on episode 22, which is just amazing still to me, and I love it. And I want to wish you all out there, in case I forget later, good holidays if you haven't already celebrated your holiday, and a sweet entry into the new year. We are going to each pull a card and do a little bit of divination and discussion around what we hope for the coming year. That's how you're framing it, right, Annie?
Yeah, hope for the turning. Yeah, whether it's turning of the year or for me, I'm celebrating solstice. I'm still in that energy.
Yeah, me too.
Of the seasons. Yep, and I need the hope, so that's what I'm asking for.
Wonderful. And I think we're going to start off with your chant. Beautiful.
Yeah, so this is a chant by Kohenet Turner. Yeah, and I'll explain. I'll give more translation and explanation after I sing. Bruchat Shekhinah, who guides me. Bruchat Shekhinah, who reminds me that I know. Bruchat Shekhinah, who grounds me. Bruchat Shekhinah, who gives me courage to let go. Bruchat Shekhinah, who grounds me. Bruchat Shekhinah, who reminds me that I know. Bruchat Shekhinah, who guides me. Bruchat Shekhinah, who gives me courage to let go. Bruchat Shekhinah, who grounds me. Bruchat Shekhinah, who reminds me that I know. Bruchat Shekhinah, who guides me. Bruchat Shekhinah, who gives me courage to let go. Bruchat Shekhinah, Ruach Haolam HaMechina Mitzadei Isha. Bruchat Shekhinah, who grounds me. Bruchat Shekhinah, who reminds me that I know. Bruchat Shekhinah, who guides me. Bruchat Shekhinah, who gives me courage to let go.
Beautiful.
Bruchat Shekhinah, blessed is the divine feminine. And the other Hebrew words, Bruchat Shekhinah, Ruach Haolam, blessed is Goddess, Spirit of the world, who Hamechina Mitzadei Isha, who makes firm woman's steps. And I would like to feel that grounding. I would like to feel my feet firmly on solid ground as I make my way around this turning, for sure.
Indeed. Thank you. So I'm going to pull a card first from the Jade Oracle deck, developed by Ann Key, together with Veronica Iglesias. Art is by Ramona Snow Teo, and what I pulled was Cihuacoatl. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
You can't see. Oh, there we go.
Snake woman.
Ooh. Did you say snake woman?
I did.
Yes.
Yes, I know. This is the second time this week I've pulled that. And I'll just read part of their definition. She was closely associated with creativity, fecundity, and childbirth. She helped create humanity by grinding bones that Quetzalcoatl brought back from the land of the dead. The meaning of her name and representations, showing her open mouth, indicate that she's an earth deity. Interestingly, a government post of the same name was second in command to the Aztec emperor. When Cihuacoatl appears, she's here to remind you that you have the power to be present, to create community, to serve as a leader. She reminds you that you care about humanity and that you move beyond yourself, taking into consideration society as a whole. And I really love that. I'm going to work backwards, with these explanations, because we are certainly very conscious of wanting to shift the current paradigm, to smash the patriarchy, to affect our society with positive social actions in whatever form we can muster and inspire, whether it's writing or chanting or marching in the street, or any one of a number of things contributing to causes we believe in. And most of all, I think changing our own language and our actions and our priorities. And so certainly I think we're both very committed to that. The challenge, of course, is that we have the power to be present, because with so many things demanding our attention and causes and people, because we're both very sensitive, and so we know and recognize and often respond to the needs of others, perhaps more often than we respond to our own. And as women, that's certainly, I think, true. And so reminding us we have the power to be present if we can call ourselves back from the distractions, to create community and to serve as a leader. We both serve in spiritual leadership roles, Annie and I, in different forms and at different times in different ways. But that definitely is a driving force behind this broadcast that we do. And I think all our work, both to serve our communities and to do that in a leadership capacity. Sometimes perhaps more secular than spiritual, but nonetheless, that's always, I think, our undergirding, our foundation. So I'm going to turn it over to you for your poll, and then we can come back around.
I just want to say another, like what I got from that card, because she's a snake woman. Is that right?
Please.
And the snake sheds her skin as just on the heels of that amazing, of Ree's chant, courage to let go. And I think part of stepping into that power is leaving behind the parts we've outgrown, the parts that don't serve us, and maybe the parts that we thought we needed to be attached to, and then discovered, whether we liked it or not, we had to leave them behind.
Right. Thank you for staying with this point, because, of course, yes, the snake represents shedding. We are definitely trying to shed and release things that didn't serve us, or negative habits or emotions that are held over still from the past year before we move into the new year. And it's about shedding so that it's a renewing process, and we're doing all that so it can be transformational, and so that we can transform into our better or best selves each time, moving a little further. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And I pulled a card from the Rebecca Campbell Work Your Light. Let's see. There we go. Work Your Light Oracle deck. And the card that I pulled is Awakening. And this is one I've seen a lot this year. It says awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. And sorry about the lighting here. Can you see it?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Let's see.
What does it say? Oh, yeah, now I see it much better. Okay, thank you. And what does it say right under the word awakening? Can you say that again?
Yes, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration.
Thank you.
And honestly, when I first pulled this, I was like, oh, this again. But it feels connected to the snake, I think, because it's in the process of evolving that the snake sheds its skin when it outgrows it. And our energetic upgrades, our new ways of being, our integrating new ways of being, are a result of leaving behind what doesn't serve, and also cause us to shed and leave behind what doesn't serve. And then when I think about this question I have, like, show me hope for the turning, it feels like a helpful reminder. We are still growing. We are still evolving, as, on a global scale, like humanity is growing and evolving. We're learning how to be human together in new ways, that some of which we didn't even couldn't even conceive of as being possible until now. And we're growing into it because, yeah, we're encountering experiences and ideas without necessarily having good models for how to actualize healthier ways of being as an evolving world. And I like the reminder that it's happening. It's like we are waking up to these new possibilities, whether we like it or not. And one of the things I like about this image is that she's really in kind of a surrendering pose. She's sort of like laying back and being lifted. And there's a way in which it can be, we don't always have to strive. We don't always have to hustle. Sometimes we can allow the awakening process. We can also allow like rest. Right now, we're in the season, at least in this Northern Hemisphere, of allowing space to rest and integrate. So that's what I'm doing right now in my holiday season is taking my time with my practices for the season so that I can, which wasn't my plan, but I got sick. I planned to do like 4 things on the solstice, and being sick has meant now I have 10 days to do the 4 things I plan to do. And I think that's good learning. Yeah. So that feels like a nice simpatico set of cards.
Yeah, and when I see that card, I'm thinking of my book Lilith's Fire. That it would have been a perfect illustration because I talk in there about us needing to awaken from coma to consciousness, and that card shows both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And just before we started recording, I was saying to Devora, I want to ask the question, with whatever we pull, what would Lilith do? I'm going to show the poster. This is from the Lilith Institute, just arrived this week.
Available through Redbubble.
Yes, I got my Redbubble order, this and a shirt.
Yeah,
and so I love that question. Like, what would Lilith do with these invitations to step in, to shed, to integrate, to I wonder, what do you think, Devora? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I can't help but think of her story as she leaves the Garden of Eden and flies away from what was a supposed paradise, but which was actually a prison. It feels very snake-like to me because she's shedding what's not working for her at all, and she's moving forward into a path of freedom and taking great risk to do so, but absolutely transforming in the process as she becomes free and independent.
I love that. Shedding also a former identity
and
as Adam's wife.
Right. And the awakening, of course. I mean, that's what it is. It's like one day she just said, I'm not taking this anymore.
Yeah. And so I love that. And the question for us of, are there parts of our lives that we've been asleep to in our personal lives or in the global consciousness, or in our external lives, microcosm or macrocosm, that we've been asleep to and that we want to wake up to, and that we want to either stand and challenge or leave behind. Because I think actually we don't really talk about this, but my sense and some of the parts of the story, Lilith didn't just fly away. I think she first said, I don't like this. And so
we will never know.
We'll never know. It doesn't say what happened when Adam doesn't say, yeah, it's true. We don't know. I like to imagine that first, she stood up or said something before flying away and then decided leaving was better.
Also, what you just said about stepping back, sometimes that's enough, pulling our energy away from something, as we do sometimes on Black Friday when people decide not to support the corporate giants and not to shop at Amazon and so on. By pulling our energy and often our dollars away from something, we are taking action, even if we don't think we are making a statement or we're not speaking out verbally. We're walking our talk.
Yeah, just choosing not to act in a way that it no longer feels in alignment.
or is in fact damaging and supports the patriarchal system.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I just want to, the words from that chant are still sort of ringing in my ears. Blessed is the goddess who grounds me and reminds me that I know, who guides me and gives me courage to let go. Yeah.
It does take courage to let go of the familiar, even if it's hurting us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I bless us all with the courage to let go of what doesn't serve us and what doesn't serve others, and also bless us that we find our feet firmly rooted on a righteous and supportive path as we walk our way across these thresholds.
Yes, I think that's a wonderful blessing to be able to let go and stand in, and therefore stand in our power.
Yeah, I mean,
All a wonderful entry into the new year, and peace and good health and sustenance and abundance in the coming year.
amen.
Asheo.
All right, see you next time.
See you next year.